From across Maryland, Virginia, and the District, this is Washington's 24-hour local news leader. News Channel 8's Live This Morning starts right now.
8 minutes now before 11 o'clock. In News from Medicine's Cutting Edge, we are talking this morning about stress in the workplace. And during these particularly difficult economic times, an awful lot of Americans are worried not just about their jobs, but also their money and a lot of other things. Heinan Landa, Heinan Landa is the president and founder of Optimal Networks, and he joins us now to talk a little bit about reducing the pressures involved in business and stress. And a real area of concentration here for you, Heinan, is the sort of the interface between technology and stress. In this world, you know, if we don't have a BlackBerry, if we don't have a cell phone, if we don't have email and instant messaging, somehow or another we feel like we've lost grip with the rest of the world. But in the process, are we just making it that much more stressful on ourselves?
It's really getting out of hand. I mean, people are walking around with their mobile phones, and an AOL study found that 59% of the people with the mobile phones in their pocket are checking their email every time they get buzzed. And you know, it's really detracting not only from their home life, but it's detracting from their work life. People are exhibiting with signs of ADD, you know, and it's just crazy. They have loss of focus. They have they can't complete projects. They've got too many things going on, and so it's one of those scenarios where you really have the choice of either letting technology control you, or you grab control of technology.
And very clearly what's happened for a lot of these people is that they have sort of given themselves up to the technology, and that somehow or another they're going to, if they don't keep an eye on every single email or IM, you know, either the big deal is going to get past them, or you know, the boss is going to call, they're not going to be there. So how do you mitigate that? Give us a couple of ideas for toning down the stress a little bit.
Well, first of all, it's rare that you see an email that would come through in an urgent situation. So really, if someone really wants you, they'll catch you via phone. Right? So what I like to do is counsel people to turn off the email notifications on their desktops and on their mobile phones. Take control of the email. Check the email when you want to check the email. Maybe you set aside a few hours 2 or 3 times during the day that you say, now I'm going to slay the emails and take care of them. Might be 10 minutes, might be an hour each time, depending on how many emails you get. But that's the thing. It's more about you taking control and you setting the agenda. Know when you have energy bursts during the day, and set those aside as maybe quiet times where you're not going to be interrupted, and you can move forward your agenda, your proactive agenda, instead of reacting.
And frankly, it seems to me if you do something like that, you're going to wind up being a lot more productive than if you sit there and sort of start and stop and get sidetracked depending on whatever the email or the phone message is. Get to it, but you don't have to get to it right this red hot second.
Yeah, listen, Microsoft did a study that every email you get, if you actually answer it, you're going to be distracted for 15 minutes and then another 10 minutes before you can actually concentrate on your task again. So, but listen, Dave, you know, technology can help too, especially in these times of stress. I don't want to paint it out as the culprit. I do it for a living. And so, you know, technology can also make you more productive during the workday. If you, for example, a simple thing is to put 2 monitors on your desk. And if you actually work with 2 monitors, it's shown to increase your productivity by 20%. You can maybe get a leg up on your job and make sure you have it if you're that much more productive.
I think that's such an important point to make. In just about everything in life, you have to strike a balance between what works and what ultimately is a hindrance instead of a help. And maybe that's the hardest part of all this stuff.
Yeah, it is, and it's really up to each individual person. You know, I've been also talking to people who are frustrated with technology, and that's adding to their stress. Of course, that's right in the heart, pardon the shameless plug, but that's right in the heart of what we do for a living, is alleviate that stress and get people the backups of their information if they're worried about a disaster like what's going on in the economy now.
Yeah, and it's not entirely clear that one individual person is going to have, frankly, that much to do with fixing all that. Heinan, thank you so much. And to go back to something you said at the very top of this thing.
Sure.
occasionally a phone call instead of an email or something like that. It's a good deal more personal, and maybe you actually, there's some nuance in hearing a person's voice, not just their words. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.